Hi, thanks for tuning in today and welcome to today's session. I just want to give you a little thought on life and how much appreciation we need to have for our life and our body, and why it is important to understand the simple concept of thinking just beyond a little bit of science. I'm sure at some point of time you must have looked at your weight. Now, as I speak, I'm pretty much 76 kilos, which is pretty much normal. I feel good and I'm doing okay with that. It was not the case 2 years ago. However, now, when I was born, pretty much I came to this earth with 3 kilos. Now, what happened in between? Of course, I went to 90 and then I came back to 75. Now, what is happening here? Basically, when my mother was conceived, or to all of us, when we enter our mother womb, we develop ourselves from the tiny, tiny, less than a fraction size of a mustard seed. Then we come out of a mother womb, uh, pretty much 3 kilos to 3.5 kilos or 2.75 kilos. And then as we grew, we get to a point where 60, 70, 80, 90, whatever, and some pretty much 100, 120. Now, how are we accumulating this weight? Where are we getting this weight from? And if you think about a little bit of going backwards about starting point, mustard seeds. Now you are a fraction size of a mustard seed at some point of time in your mother womb. And all of us, and this is how the nature works, and all of us know that, right? That's what science says. Now imagine that 9 months in your mother womb, what developments are you going through? Starting from your legs, hands, your internal organs, and your eyes, your smell, and your taste, and everything develops in all our senses, all our body, all our bones, all our, you name it. We are getting prepared in that 9 months for 100 years of journey, if not 100, at least 80 years of a journey. Can you believe the length and width of the importance what creation is happening in Mother Womb, right? Now, when we come out of it, and as we grow, and of course, it's in a developmental phases. It takes a while to reach to adult life. Whatever the science says, it's fine. But there are many things happens as we grow. Obviously, at the age of 4 or 5, you see a naked girl or a naked man. You're not going to get excited for someone in terms of a sexual intentions, right? At the same time, reading or listening to some wonderful stories, you're not going to get any inspiration. So we develop, we develop as we go along. And of course, at some point of time, we have perfectly reached to a position where we can think, we can talk, we can act, we can use our intelligence, we can use our legs to run, hands to use our work, and smell and eat and whatnot. How are all these things happening starting from a tiny fraction of a mustard seed from mother? Don't you think, don't you give a thought? This is all how we evolved and a science evolution, or okay, from different stages we came from ape till a human being, and we spread our intelligence towards reaching to the Mars, moon, or whatever. But don't you think, just giving a thought, there must be someone who had created this unique human being and put some thoughts and towards creating this life. And what do we do when we come out and as we grow? Misuse the planet and use our intelligence. When we die, first of all, we don't even carry our body, which helped all along during this journey. Pretty much, it depends on the scriptures. People burn it, bury it, spread the ashes. So, what's happening in the journey from the point you come out of your mother womb until the point you die? Is we're running behind the things necessary to the unnecessary, and most of the time unnecessary things, having a lot of tensions, pressures, and so on and so forth. Now, what is the point I'm making here is that we need to appreciate there is a wonderful creation which is created You call it as a science evolution, I call it as a creation by the God. Or, you know, the, if you observe the nature, you can't be you can't be saying that this is science. You can't be saying that this is an evolution. It's amazing how we evolve during these 80 years of journey from that pretty much a mustard seed. And when we come, everything is perfectly organized. All the senses are functioning. You grow, the hair grows, mustache grows, body grows time to time. The bones develops. Okay, everything is about the nature. Nature is supporting in a different ways for us to grow as we are today. Now, we can go back and argue, okay, this is all about science, but do you really think it's a science? Do you really think that a science can create a human being with spirit soul, with the energy? Now, all of us can agree and talk without the spark, without the energy. And of course, I just wanted to mention something in one of the scriptures I read in Bhagavad Gita that Lord Krishna mentions, I am the living amongst all living beings, and I am the living force for all the living beings. So he's clearly saying that he is a living force in all the living things. So be it an ant, dog, cat, whatever, any living being, there is a creation. There is an intelligence, depends on the species, wherever it is. Now, okay, let's not get into the spiritual subject. So here, now, all I want you to understand is a tiny mustard seed towards 80 kilos of your body and what's happening in between. Is it science? Is it a creation? Do you believe something is happening behind your scenes without your any efforts? All things are happening and everything is supported by each other. So does our human life. So does our friends, families. So does all the human beings. Now you can't be by yourself and say is creation of God. Yes, He did put you here, or you came here for a reason, for a purpose, or whatever the world purpose you might be having. But at the same time, you can't function all by yourself. Otherwise, pretty much why did God give the families? If you're self-sustaining of everything by yourself, I don't think God must have put your mother, father, brother, sister, uncle, husband, wife, and kids, and the relationships, and so on and so forth. So we really need to connect each other towards developing in a different aspect. At the same time, appreciating what we have. At the same time, understanding this is not the science, this is a creation of somebody, some magical thing which happens every 2 seconds, every 3 seconds. When the child is born, there is a magic happening. And I was fortunate to see when our second son was born, like literally have seen how my wife had suffered to give a birth. So it's a painful experience. At the same time, it's a great experience to see a mustard seed, a fraction of mustard seeds coming out in a 3 kgs of in a boy form or a girl form, with all set to prepare for the rest of their life, whatever the time they were given, like 80 to 100 years. Now, what I'm trying to say end of this video is that have a little bit of belief. When we talk about uh, everything is all these Mickey Mouse things, what goes wrong in our lives with the phones, smartphones, in this creation, that creation. If everything has created and somebody has invented it, and I'm sure someone who had invented this planet Earth or invented, or the magic happening behind each and every human being must have created and thought of, given a great thought before he sent us here or put us here. Or you can say, you know what, this is evolution. That's it. This is the science of evolution and nothing beyond that. No one can change that. But then when you look into the small details of how precision it goes to in your life as you grow and as you give a thought to it, as you try to understand life in a big picture, and I'm sure you will appreciate it's definitely not the science and evolution what we think. Definitely no one can create a life form. If someone can create, probably that's, I say, the creator who created this planet, so does he is creating the human beings, ants, dogs, any animal forms, sea forms, so on and so forth. So before we give our judgments to ourselves, I don't believe in this, I don't believe in that, I think we should just give a thought to see, how did we even evolve? How did we even think about only one thing? How did we even evolve from the starting point of a fraction of a mustard seed from your mother womb till wherever you are right now, 60, 70, 80 kilos? And how did it appear? And then how did all the senses function? How does entire organs functions internally without your having any efforts? Do you think it's a magic, or you think it's just happening as we evolve like billions of years? It's something that you need to give a thought. At the end of the day, end of this video, I want you to understand that if we can create being here, and you can be a creator of small businesses, small inventions, small things, what it's not something which is creation is just happening, um, and we brought it from somewhere else. Everything is happening as we stay in this planet Earth, and you obviously didn't come along with anything. But at the same time, you're going with empty hands. At the same time, this intelligence of a different form, different people, how is it coming? How is it popping? Do you really give a thought about that? Do you think, let's just give an example. Just for example, Steve Jobs. When the Steve Jobs was born, he didn't have from his mother or womb the recipe for how to create Apple products. So if that is the case, their parents could have been the inventor of the Apple, right? That's not the case. So everybody comes with their own strengths and abilities and intelligence. And where is that intelligence is coming from? Where is that smart thinking? How these great businesses evolve, and how was this thinking happening? It's something that we should give a thought. And where is this intelligence? Whoever created these flights and whoever created these great businesses, great inventions, where is that intelligence coming? Someone is inspiring. Who is that person? Who is that inspiring? Is that they just got, they look at the sky and they got the idea and then they just started doing it? But how is that happening to them? Why is it not happening to you? Why is it not happening to me? Why is only specific people are doing to design certain things? So if you ask certain questions, you can do get some answers, but at the same time you can go be and say, hey, you know what? There is much beyond our thinking, our limited senses, what goes around our lives. So be grateful for what you are, and at the same time have some kind of a belief that everything can get better. And if a God created you, or a creator who created you from the smallest tiny mustard seed to whoever you are, wherever you are today, and I'm sure there must be a great design went behind your journey for this 80, 90, 100 years, which is about to come, or which is happening right in front of you. But if you appreciate the life, appreciate the creation, and appreciate the creator who created you, and I'm sure you will have a wonderful life ahead of you, whatever the time is remaining in your life. Thanks for watching. Talk to you soon. Bye bye.